he missed a free throw?
Yeah, man. Obviously, no timeouts left. Told us to push the pace, and obviously against the zone. I really couldn't even tell what defense they're in, but I'm pretty sure it was their zone. And Lamine got it in the middle, and as a shooter, you're always taught to find a window. And I think the scout is out, so everyone's flying. So shot fake and reload. We talk about it all the time, and yeah, big win for us. Big win for us. Shout out to this guy.
Toby, you went from giving us one of these early in the half when you finally got one to go down to making that shot. Is that the life of a shooter right there?
Yeah, man. First half, it's rough, but my father always taught me to move on to the next shot, and as a shooter, that's what you're kind of taught to do. And I was lucky enough to be in a position to hit three in the second half to help us. So shout out to my teammates for getting me in that position and trusting me to continue shooting.
This might be a little silly of a question, but what made you take the three and not a two?
It's a good question, honestly. I think in this type of environment, the way we were playing, when he missed that free throw, I was a UNC fan my whole life growing up, so I don't know if any of you guys remember when Kentucky played UNC, and I think it was the Elite Eight, when UNC won the championship, and Kentucky scored to tie it, and they just kind of rushed down the court and got an open look. I think, you always go for the win in that scenario, I would say.
Denver, you had the hot hand in the first half, but they closed in on you in the second. How hard of an adjustment was it for you, and for you to make more plays without the ball in your hands? How much did that help?
It wasn't really an adjustment. It's just, I got my shots off in the second half as well, but it wasn't my half. Everybody else got involved, and we got the win. So that's all that matters.
How important is a win like this, the way the team's been up and down so much, and you have the team tied for first coming into your building? How important is this win moving forward?
Huge, just because we lost these last two in a row, and that was our first time ever losing two in a row this season. So just our approach in practice every day leading up to this game was just emphasizing how important this win was, and we came out today, we fought, and we got the win.
Denver, sorry if you addressed this earlier, but with Keyshawn going down, there's, I assume, just some understanding that you and CJ are just going to play a whole boatload of minutes now. How has that maybe helped you either settle in or relax or play through mistakes, or just your overall thought process going into a game?
I think it's just more of a next man up mentality. I think because Keyshawn going down was hard for us, and it kind of just switched up our whole lineup and our scheme and everything with our substitutions. So just having the opportunity to play more minutes and making more plays for my guys, there's nothing more I can ask for. And, we're all making plays right now, and we're playing our best basketball. I feel like just playing hard, and it showed in this game today.
Toby, of course you had a rocky first half. When you made that first three-pointer, was there like a different mentality going forward from you saying, I just want to get on the board, to you saying, I want to take over this game and get Iona the win?
Yeah, I think, you're always thinking about the next shot. But yeah, seeing the first one go in is huge. It's, even subconsciously, it kind of lifts your spirits, and you start to get that confidence back. Honestly, I could have gone 0 for 15 tonight, and if we won, I probably would have been the happiest guy on the floor. I think that's just the type of team we are. Like we say every time we're in here, it could be anyone's night. This guy kept us in it throughout the whole game. If anyone should be being thanked, it's him. But yeah, you see the first one go in, and you kind of get that confidence back, and you start to get in a rhythm. And we're a team that fights, and I think that's what we showed today.
Toby, again, sorry if you answered. Have you hit a game winner like that before?
Back in my Brandeis days, I did hit a game winner, but either one or two, something like that. You kind of, as a shooter, you kind of just always think about the next shot. So,
For both you guys, after the two losses, how much of a momentum boost is this to win it the way you did and carry that with you in the next one?
Yeah, it's huge. I think we're starting to figure things out as a team. Like I said previously when I've been in here before, it's 15 new guys. It's hard, and especially with Keyshawn going down. We think about him every day. I think it kind of added a little chip to us. You realize that you can't just take it for granted. It could be gone like that. So yeah, this was huge for us. I think we'll probably celebrate it tonight, but tomorrow we're right back into preparing for Saturday.
Denver, when you're on a heater like that, how do you get into that mode?
It starts with the whole day, really. Came in, got some shots up. It goes into our preparation at shoot-around at Bronxville, and then coming back, taking a nap, just going through my my everyday game day routine, really. So nothing really changes. It's just my shot was going down tonight, and just gotta keep trusting the work.
Yeah, I could have told you he was gonna have a good one. He was busting me in the shooting competitions we do. It normally doesn't happen, but today, I knew it was gonna happen today.
Yeah.
Can you guys talk a little bit about the environment of the Heinz Arena? You guys have only dropped one game here. What's it like playing with this environment?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. All the fans, it's an incredible basketball community here, and I think that's part of the reason I came here, he came here, everyone who's on the team now came here. It's a school that cares about basketball, and it definitely shows. And I think it might not be the Dean Dome or the big arenas around, but I think it's perfect how it is because it gets loud and it gets packed, and people really care about basketball, and it's a great environment to win in, and I think we're going to continue doing that throughout the season.
Toby, what was going through your mind as you made that game-winning shot, a great one with only seconds to spare?
Honestly, I thought there was time left on the clock, and I was like, oh my God, we got to get a stop. But yeah, I mean, you see it go in, and it's kind of a whirlwind of emotions, but, I think it was really just waiting to see that final buzzer, and yeah, everything else kind of, I don't really remember.
Thanks, guys. Great work.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Man, I mean, one, it's great to have the students back. My God, that helps a lot. It helps a lot for our crowd and what we're doing. And I think there is a real, kind of bigger belief from our student body, which is exciting. I think for our university, and I think obviously a big game on Saturday as well. So we need to we got to pack this out. And I'm asking them to come out in droves. We'll do whatever we need to do to make sure this place feels right. Joe Gallo is a mastermind, man. That zone's something. I played a pretty elaborate matchup zone at Richmond, but that's really something to go against. They're a hell of a team, obviously leading our conference and all that. And for us, internally, I think we really needed a little bit of stability versus this zone with our dribbling, passing, decision making. So that was exciting for our group to go through and feel. But what a match, you know what I mean? Just what a bout, just round by round by round all the way through. But honestly, credit to Merrimack. They're a hell of a team, and obviously Kavar he's from a good city. He's up there from the best city, but he the best city is New York City, but he's from a good city, and. Great player. We had to do a lot of different things against him, and for a freshman guard, that's obviously an elite talent. And then, I think, we just trusted our decision-making and trusted where we were at, and can't script it. So, exciting about us, and, on to Manhattan.
Dan, can you walk me through that last sequence after they missed the front end?
Yeah, I think we had a play on the right side with a left kind of drive from CJ, kind of like you saw for the quick 2 when we were down 4. We had a play for a 3 for Toby on that side, whether they made or missed. We thought he was going to make the first at least, So when he missed the first, the other playoff miss first was CJ for Lamine to run right to the middle of the zone. And our spacing was different there because Cormier was in the game. And that kind of shifted. I think there were bumps. I don't know. I'll ask Joe in the summer. We got to play him again, but I'll ask him in the summer. Maybe a little bit more of those bumps. But I think we kind of put 2 shooters on that side and tried to make them make a play. And then Lamine, obviously the decision maker he is, made a good one. And I don't know, something about that left corner step back 3 for the Gales this year. It's just something about that. There's just something about that corner. I promise we don't just work on step back 3s there. I promise that. But obviously a great play for Toby, and really, really happy for him.
So, Coach, it sounds like that last shot of the game there, that was a play you've drawn up before, already planned out rather than.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were going for that. I mean, Lamine had the ISO if he wanted it, but really it was about the shooting and trying to find that. Again, I really didn't think he'd miss the front end, honestly. And when he did, it kind of just went into our hands. And Lamine had that. And I think there was a cut on that right side of the floor, but the left side was spaced with shooting, and we had a decision to make. It's a little football-y, but that's it's kind of what we did.
How would you assess? Again, you said how much of a challenge playing the zone is. How do you feel you guys did against them?
Yeah, I mean, 11 turnovers, 1 to start the game, so we'll just say 10. But I think it's you see CJ had 5, and obviously being him and Denver being primary ball handlers, like I think CJ was really. It's very unusual the way they can actually get you away from the pick and roll. Like they don't let you go off the pick and roll, and that's kind of what happened there at the end with the shot clock violation. And we hadn't run a ton of pick and roll in it. We thought we would kind of catch them napping, but they're elite at it. That's what they work on all the time, and I think we just had different guys. We love our decision makers. You guys know all this. We love the dribbling and the passing, and we tried to dribble less when we got inside the 3-point line. That was a big emphasis tonight. We'll take a look at it. Obviously, Aliu had that one. I wish he would have caught it clean. When he bobbled it, that kind of lost his timing. Thought we had something there, and we hadn't really exposed any of that, that passing angle. Khalil had the one where it was a turnover, but I think it's just hard to go against. I'm glad we found some of our threes, but I mean, Lamine again, great in the paint, but I thought our production from 2 was tough, because they do a really good job at that.
For Denver to have the first half that he did, how much more does that amplify his confidence?
Yeah, I just feel he's so clear right now. I feel him in this organization. I really do. I've loved him since we started the recruiting process. I just feel his clear-mindedness, and I feel him daily here, and I think it's starting to pay off. Our routine's not for everybody. You got to really be obsessed. You got to be a little bit crazy upstairs to be good here. You know what I mean? And I think we found that with him, and we're chomping at the bit to keep going.
Coach, after a rough past 2 games, how big of a momentum boost was it to get a win over a team that was previously 8-1 in the MAC conference?
Yeah, I think the previous 2 are difficult. The MAC's just something, man. It's something different a lot of these nights. I think I would have said pregame, like building off of St. Peter's, how we went off all their different man-to-man, zone, press, all that stuff. Like, I was surprised we turned the ball over in the first possession, because I would have thought that's just kind of how we're stacking our days, almost using Peters as an experience to understand the Merrimack zone, but it's just all way different. So obviously the Ryder loss hurts, the offensive rebounding, and being in foul trouble, being down a player, that was tough for us. I think we weren't very present-minded. I talked about that a lot. I thought Peters, we were pretty present-minded. Second half, we just weren't consistent enough. So to put 2 halves together, and obviously the pace was low, but that's what this team does, and this felt like a high-level college hoops game. That's for sure, and we're happy to come out on top.
How much does a game like this prepare you for Manhattan Saturday night? Another short rotation, a lot of different looks from defense. Obviously, Galby, another Delco guy.
I'm sure he'll remind me of that during the game. I know. He didn't hear me today. I waved to him when I was dropping my kid off at school. He was going to getting coffee at Slave to the Grind. He didn't hear me. I think he might have been tired. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see him on Saturday. But I think it's something in this league with the one-day preps. We got to do a good job of this. Obviously, some guys played some heavy minutes, but our possession, our pace was lower. So we'll equate that. We'll look at that data, understand what tomorrow looks like. And obviously, Saturday being a night game helps as well. It's not a quick turnaround as we've been used to with the one-day preps. So for me, I think seeing that zone prepares you for a lot of different things, and they do such great, incredible things with that zone and different looks within it. So for me, it's kind of like, now we know we're going to see a lot of different defenses, a lot of different situations that Manhattan will put us in. We just got to be prepared for it and do it the right way.
How would you change the last 2.5 months from a stylistic standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I think it feels more controlled, more our pace. I think our pace to start the year was so high, and probably an unintended consequence of being 4-0, whatever we were. So, 5-2, I think, 6-2 after Delaware. You're playing at a high clip, and you're playing a lot of guys. And then what I'm learning in college for sure, in my first year back in a while, it's no matter what happens, it dwindles down. It'd have been hard to play a 72 pace tonight. And as you get in the conference, and especially this conference, you got to get muddy. I said it after the game, and what I mean by that is like you got to get in the mud. You can't run away from that. And I think for our team, it's like improving our physicality, improving our mindset, and the only way you can do that really, I think, is to slow it down a little. And I mean, I think it's something we got to keep working on. And I talked about the offensive renaissance a little bit, but that's kind of the idea behind it.
Any update on Luke?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's questionable for Saturday. Got a little tight in that second half of Peters, which was unfortunate. We really need him. Again, big decision maker. What does he call himself? Big guard or something like that? We call him decision makers now. But again, his passing, his floor spacing can help us a lot. And also, I think obviously you see a lot of heavy minutes, but again, lower pace. But I think he could help us if he can give us a little bit Saturday. But if not, I think we go as with where we're at, and we just continue forward.
How much different do you feel about tonight if the Harris shot doesn't go in?
Yeah, I mean, to me, my wife was already on me about my reaction to the shot. It wasn't much. I think I was already in that mind space of like, yeah, a lot of stuff happens in these games, and you're in one possession games, and a lot of things, if he missed that shot, it's like, yeah, I want to coach alley-oop fall on what we're doing defensively and offensively. I want to coach, Lamine on what even, he's 8 for 12 from the free throw line, 9 fouls drawn. It's like 5 assists, no turnovers. Great game for you. Now how do you get better for Saturday? And that's kind of where we're at on it. Obviously, Denver, great. Toby, great looks in the first half, didn't make. But there's a lot of things process-wise that happens in games. And listen, we all been a part of crazy games. And did we lose the lead tonight? Like, yeah, but it would never really, we were up a little bit. I think biggest lead was 6, and theirs was 5. It's like you're in a 2-possession game the whole time. So I'm happy we got to experience that. I'm really happy Toby's shot went in. But I think there's another world, and that's where I live. That's kind of, unfortunately, for me, that's my mind space, where we got to go through this process. We did a lot of different stuff defensively tonight, and we got to look back on that film tomorrow, really on the defensive end, because the offensive stuff we can just put away for a little while. But the defensive end, what are we after, and what are we continuing to improve on?
That's a good question there. You did seem to mix up some different defenses in there today.
Yeah.
What prompted that? Just feeling like you're struggling on defensive end a little bit?
I think it's like, what's the best way to say this? You're doing such a good job, usually in one half or the other, was what we were noticing. And it's either we were learning the team, which I kind of don't like in the first half, but then when we were doing a great job in the first half of games, second half, in some of these losses, we seem to wear down, or we call it like get mindless, and for me, shift into mindfulness to, we talked a lot about being a lead at communicating as an organization these past probably 5-6 days, but that's talking, but it's also listening. And for me, same idea with me, I got to listen to how they're feeling and what's going on out there. And listen, as we all know, 13 new guys, Junker's coming back, like you got to do this faster. That's also part of the reason I was hired. Is I believe we know how to do this faster. And my thing is like now it's like continuing to take ownership, continue to understand it, and now we get a domino effect of what the different defenses feel like, how they like it, and keeping it being a mindful atmosphere for us.
Coming up this Saturday against Manhattan, how important is it to bring the conference record up above 500?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great. Obviously, I think it was a big part of tonight was trying to get back to it. But I think a home game for us. And to be honest, I think I'm just looking for that right step of how we're going to play and how we're going to execute, and then defensively, how do we continue to mature?
Yeah, Dan, up until the final 3-pointer by Toby that clinched the game, were there any moments in the last 30 seconds or so that you worried it was over?
Not really. I just seen a lot of crazy stuff happen in basketball. When you see 82 of these things, sometimes you're kind of like, oh, well, I can't believe that just happened on a weird Thursday in January. Here it's a little different because it's only 31 of them. You know what I mean? So, I think, you can't predict this stuff. And that's the fun part of sports. I think it's the fun part about being a fan. I think it's the crazy part about choosing coaching as a profession. But I think it's the exciting part of what we're doing and what we're building. Like, I'm going to be honest, this team, like, they're so they're so unusual. They're so together in this era. They all can dribble and pass for the most part. They all play their role at a high level, and that's why, like, you know, you want the energy to make that shot for you, you know, and I think that's where, like, the love of this team just keeps kind of shining for our guys, you know, and they can respond to a 2-game losing streak, first 2-game losing streak, by the way. They can respond to that in the right fashion.
What did you think of your bench tonight?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I thought Chase was just, like, great. You know, I told Patrick Wallace, I told him, like, get him up there a little, get him up in that high quadrant a little bit on the wings, but his baseline runner stuff was great. And Chase is so fast and then elite at, like, turning that corner to get middle. He's such a threat. So that was great. I mean, Aliu, you know, we got to keep working. We got to keep working with the big fella. Again, as I told you before, it's hard to be a guard here. It's really hard to be a big. And then Khalil, I mean, just listen. It's been since the Hofstra game. You know, our relationship is it's emotional. You know, I think we're both heavy competitors. We're not afraid of confrontation. We're not afraid of we call it like the smoke. You know what I mean? We feel each other in games, and you know, and I couldn't rebound like that. But like in the summer, he was one of our best decision makers, assist to turnover and all that, and potential assists. So there's something in there. You know, I want to build with that kid a lot. I really think there's a different growth pattern for him. But right now he's in this role, and that's what it is. You know, so he's got to continue to figure that out.
How come you sat down in the second half?
Probably needed some breathing exercises. I think there's some, some tension in that game and some decisions of where I want to go. And obviously you guys know I rely on my staff at a high clip and at a high level. So for me, it was kind of like, you know, I don't love the prediction world. I like being present. But at that moment, I just felt, and at a couple of those moments, I felt like, listen, this is going to get it's going to be tight. I don't really feel either of us pulling away here. So you kind of set the table for them for what my questions were going to be and what my thoughts were going to be in the next couple minutes.
All good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.